Dust and oil coated everything in Jace Varen's mechanic bay, including the dragon. Well, technically it wasn't dragon. The scientists called a Thresk a bioengineered apex life form from the ruined moons of Akuro. But Jace never cared much for what the scientists said. To him, the creature was just Scorch, the strange, scaled alien who had crash-landed near his junkyard 2 years ago, starved, burned, and barely alive. And who, for some reason, had chosen him. It hadn't spoken a word. It couldn't. The species had no vocal cords, no translator chip, no tech embedded in its body. It simply watched, moved, responded, and Jace, scruffy, sharp-eyed, and alone, watched back, day by day, gesture by gesture. Something began to form between them. Scorch was the size of a hover truck, covered in matte black scales that shimmered faintly red when angry, gold when pleased. At first, Jace thought those color shifts were just biological reactions, like reptilian thermoregulation. But then he noticed something else. Whenever he approached with tools, Scorch's left eye would narrow, and its tail would flick once to the left if the tool was wrong. A slow blink meant yes. A head dip? Repeat. A sharp twitch of one claw? Stop. He started writing things down. Diagrams. Gestures, positions, and somewhere in the chaos of his notes, he realized it was a language, a real, structured, ancient language, not a sound or symbols, but a motion and color. You're not just smart, Jace whispered one night, after Scorch had helped him recalibrate an old terraforming unit, using only tail swipes and a slow pulse of shifting gold. You're trying to teach me. Scorch blinked once, slowly. His chest glowed a soft violet, the same color Jace had once seen when he'd spoken about his lost family. That night, Jace didn't sleep. He sat in his workshop and scrawled patterns into the dust on the floor. Over time, he made a dictionary. Tail flicks, ice shudders, scale color pulses, claw taps. He started calling it Kavarii, the silent tongue of motion, and in it, Scorch taught him more than just commands. He told stories. Scorch was old, not in years, but in memory. His kind had been designed not as beasts of war, as humans assumed, but as living archives. Their body language was a language of the Kavarii, a vanished civilization that believed voice led to lies, but motion never could. Through gestures, Scorch told Jace of temples built in floating lakes, of sky rituals where dragons like him formed constellations mid-air, of the betrayal that came when outsiders captured their kin and used them as weapons in forgotten wars, and how Scorch had escaped, flying across galaxies, wounded, until he fell, onto a scrap-heap moon, into the arms of a lonely mechanic. One morning, as Jace worked beneath a damaged mining hauler, Scorch's tail suddenly whipped twice. Danger. Jace froze. The sky above shimmered. A corporate skiff descended, its matte black hull bearing the insignia of Zepho's Corp, the same company rumored to hunt rare alien fauna. Jace stood quickly, grease on his hands, heart pounding. 2 armored men stepped out. "You Vurin?" one asked. "Yeah." Jace said, try to look unimpressed. "Something broken?" The soldier glanced around the yard. "We picked up rare biosigns from orbit. That Thresk's registered as extinct." Jace laughed. "If you saw my cat's litter box, you'd mistake that for a biosign too." Behind him, Scorch watched from a distance, still, silent. The second soldier turned. "That thing behind your shed. It's moving." Jace stepped between them. "Old cargo lifter. Not for sale." The man started walking toward it. Then, Scorch moved. Just a tail flick. One claw raised. A shift in eye focus. Jace understood instantly. He stepped forward, speaking in Kavarii he'd learned, his body mimicking Scorch's signs. A shoulder tilt. A hand flick, a blink. To the soldiers, it looked like nonsense. To Scorch, it was a message. Play dead. Wait. The dragon obeyed. His scales dimmed to dull gray. Breath shallow. Tail unmoving. By the time the soldiers reached the shed, they found nothing but rusted metal. You're wasting time, Jay said. No dragons here. Just a man trying to fix broken things. The Zepho's men left, but not before one of them muttered, "We'll be back." That night, Scorch stood in front of the stars, eyes narrowed. He tapped his claws, two short, one long. Jace translated, "They will return." With fire. He nodded grimly. "Then we've got work to do." For the next week, they trained. Jace used what he'd learned at Kavarii to build traps, communicate mid-combat, and warn Scorch of threats. They created a full tactical code, motion-based signals that outpace human comm systems. When Scorch needed power, Jace rerouted engines. When Jace was cornered, Scorch's roar shook apart drones midair. The final showdown came at dusk. Zepho's ships descended, armed with tranquilizers, drones, and containment fields. Jace stood alone at the gate, hands raised. "Told you, there's nothing here." "Scan says otherwise," the captain replied. "Then your scan's broken." That's when Scorch emerged. Wings flared, eyes blazing gold. Tail arched over Mechanic Bay like a storm cloud. The captain laughed. "What's a junkyard dragon going to do?" Jace raised two fingers. A signal. Scorch blinked once. Then chaos erupted. The battle was swift, precise, because they didn't fight with strength alone. They fought with understanding. Every movement coordinated. Every shift of claw and color, answered by wrench and wire. And when the Zepho's captain tried to shoot Jace in the back, Scorch tackled him midair and spoke, not in voice, not in human words, but through a single gesture, a ripple of scales, a low hiss, a motion of claw to heart. "He is mine. I choose him." The Zepho's team fled in retreat. No casualties, just broken pride. A week later, interstellar media buzzed with headlines. Alien dragon and human mechanic use ancient language to repel corporate invaders. Offers came. Fame. Fortune. Jace ignored them all. He sat under the stars, scribbling in a leather-bound notebook, recording more Kavarii than any archive had ever known. Beside him, Scorch curled in peace, wings tucked. No more hiding. No more fear. Just silence, and a language that needed no sound to say, "We are not beasts. We are friends."